of you who don't know me, my name's Laura Good, and I am the co-founder of StartupSac. StartupSac exists in Sacramento to help you, the entrepreneurs, connect with the resources that are available in the region. And also you, the mentors, because we have a lot of them with us today, to connect to the entrepreneurs who need help. And StartupSac co-founder Jeff Bennett is also here. Jeff, if you want to wave.
Hello.
And then Cameron Law, who is our one of our partners, who's the executive director at the Carlson Center. Cameron, you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here.
And then Aubrey Taylor with the City of Sacramento. Aubrey, I'll cue you in to speak in a minute. So we're all here today to help you find out about Mentor Sacramento. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. Okay, so hopefully you can raise your thumb if you can see my screen. All right. So for those of you who just signed up for this meeting because you never heard of Mentor Sacramento, Mentor Sacramento is an online platform designed to make it easy for entrepreneurs to connect with volunteer mentors in both the greater Sacramento region as well as mentors from around the world. So it launched in November, and this is the landing page here. Jeff, if you wouldn't mind pasting that link. Okay, great.
Way ahead of you.
Way ahead of me, thank you. So this is basically where you'll go when you start out. So I wanted to give Aubrey a chance to tell you a little bit about why the City of Sacramento decided to fund and launch Mentor Sacramento, and then we'll get into more of the details of how to use the platform. So Aubrey, if you would like to take it away.
Sounds good. So hello everyone, I'm Aubrey Taylor and I work in the city's Office of Innovation and Economic Development. I am currently a one-person innovation team, but my intro here to Micro Mentor is that the past couple of years, our office has started to look at inclusive economic development and how we reach underserved, basically our underserved communities. So for us, it's a directive to look at underserved entrepreneurs and how we can work with underserved entrepreneurs and encourage kind of that business growth. So again, in the past couple of years, that's kind of been our directive. So one of the things that we saw as an opportunity for kind of investing in those communities is through mentorship. There are a lot of small businesses that could use some help. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir. I'm not an entrepreneur myself. I like to say I'm entrepreneur adjacent, but yeah. So the idea of mentorship can really help some folks launch or start off learning lessons that they won't have to learn themselves and get to the places that they're trying to get to and achieve their goals a bit faster. So we figured an online platform would be kind of like an equalizer. There's a lot of people who meet people through, awesome networking events, such as the ones that StartupSac puts on here, but not everyone is plugged into that information, or maybe sometimes can make some of those events. So Mentor Sacramento, since it's online, it's easier to access, it's free. So we figured being able to invest in something that was that could lower those barriers to entry was really important. So that's kind of where the idea for Mentor Sacramento came from. We were looking for something online that could connect entrepreneurs with those resources.
Great, and perfect timing with the COVID pandemic, where this was in the works prior to COVID. So you guys really must have had a crystal ball when you knew how much we'd be needing this. So thank you, Aubrey. The platform launched last month in November, and we showcased it a little bit during Global Entrepreneurship Week. We actually held an office hours sprint where we did 90 mentoring sessions in the course of about an hour and a half to kind of preview Mentor Sacramento. So I want to go ahead and play a short video for you. And
there you go.
Welcome to Distinguished Gentlemen, the premier men's clothing store in the Sacramento region.
My name is Glenn Miller. Our business is Momo's Meat Market.
My name is Sarah Mushiri, and I run a social enterprise called Ecodunia. I grew up in a really tiny village north of Kenya, and what does Kenya have to offer and what does Africa have to offer in general? I came up with the idea of using African fabric to make products.
But about 30 years ago, I had this dream. It just came to me that I wanted to own a men's shoe store. It was more difficult than I thought. I'm not looking to find somebody to buy one suit. I'm looking for a customer.
My name's AZ. The name of my company is Stair Financial Technologies. We take in public investment data and then we aggregate it to financial institutions like hedge funds, and we make that data machine readable and as instant as possible.
Created an investment group for women, queens teaching queens, just being passionate about helping women, women empowerment, and then having this skill set that's helped me. And so I just kind of wanted to do the same thing, provide mentorship.
The Mentor Sacramento program came about because we were interested in finding ways to help promote entrepreneurship and really dive into inclusive economic development in the city. One of the ways we identified was through mentorship and kind of the small business development.
The core purpose behind the Carlson Center is to really build that next generation of impact-driven entrepreneurs. And we have this mission to make innovation and entrepreneurship pervasive throughout the greater Sacramento region.
So for me, I knew that I wanted someone to be, the person who was going to help me was going to be in the United States, because that's where I was going to do business and understood something about Africa.
My mentor Luciano specifically helped us with a way to accurately and just talk to customers and grab the information that we want from them.
Having a mentor, someone saying, this is what you have, this is where you want to get to.
I think it's extremely important to make sure you have a mentor that really wants to see you succeed, that really cares about, your desires, your dreams, your goals. And
I've had a mentor myself. It really changes your perspective. It's almost like somebody who's been there and done a journey with, before you, and they're trying to hold your hand and give you sort of some stepping stones of how to get there. Similarly, when I try to mentor others and give back from what I've gained, it's the same thing. I tell them very honestly some of the traps, some of the pitfalls that I felt myself. I'm very open about that, but also I'm that sounding board.
The first step is to create a profile. The second step is to search. Based on the information entered in a member's profile, they will be shown a pre-sorted selection of potential matches. The next step is starting a conversation. When a member finds someone who they are interested in working with, they can initiate engagement with a direct message. Lastly, after both the mentor and entrepreneur agree to work together, the pair establishes a format for one-to-one mentoring that works for them. Mentor Sacramento believes in the power of human connection to improve the lives of business owners and their communities.
okay. All right, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so that video explained everything, so this meeting is now over. Just kidding. So as you can see, the Mentor Sacramento platform is for all sorts of entrepreneurs, whether you have a storefront business, online e-marketing, or what is the term? E-sales,
E-commerce?
E-commerce, thank you, Cameron.
I got you.
Site, or a scalable startup. And this platform is developed by Micro Mentor, and it's actually used globally by a lot of different organizations. And we have our own little piece of Micro Mentor that you enter through the mentor-sacramento.micromento.org website. And what you'll see is that our mentors, see if I can show you here, are identified by this little banner, and we'll look at that more, that they're a Mentor Sacramento mentor and what organization they referred them to Micro Mentor. So you've got some from Sac State and all that kind of thing. So, but then you also have access to mentors who are not directly part of the Mentor Sacramento community, but they're interested in mentoring. So how do you get started? Okay, so the first thing you would do is click on Find a Mentor. And if you haven't signed up yet, it's going to say, you know, you're going to get this message because you're not logged in, saying if you have an existing business or have taken the first steps to start your business, you can, you know, continue to create a profile on Micro Mentor. So if you do meet those qualifications, then you'll be invited to create an account on the Micro Mentor community. And when you click continue, it's going to take you to this step 2. This is to join as an entrepreneur. And just in case you made a mistake and clicked on the wrong one, it says, do you really want to join as a mentor? And then you would click that. It wants you to create a detailed profile. It wants you to follow through if you make connections with mentors. You know, don't waste their time by requesting their help and not replying to them. Also, there's no solicitation allowed. So mentors are here to provide you with support and guidance, not to connect you to financing investors or customers. And because you are the one looking for the free mentoring, you should really drive the process and send the first request to the mentor. So if you agree to these expectations and actually, I don't know if this is going to work because I technically signed out. Okay, now it wants me to sign in. All right. This is my dummy account, Sponge Laura, because I'm a SpongeBob fan. So we won't go through all of these, but basically it'll ask you to set up, oops, I got to agree. So it's going to ask you things like your first name and your last name. You have an opportunity to add a photo, which I think is a great idea. You know, answer all sorts of questions, talk about what stage your venture is at. And we have identified 3 basic stages. No, there's a different one. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So you say I'm at the idea stage, you know, all the way to I'm operating at scale and profitable. The name, a little more information, and how do you best describe your venture, and some things like that. So I won't take you through the whole application process, but you do need to complete the application, anything that's required with one of these stars, to be able to start searching. And I wanted to show you that you'll also be asked to classify yourself in one of these categories, a Main Street business. So that would be restaurants to retail shops, you know, primarily brick and mortar. A young innovator is typically, a lot of students might fall in that category. So you're looking for the experience of community and global business leaders, you know, to help move you forward towards being an entrepreneur, you're probably kind of at an idea stage and looking to fund. And then the last category is high growth ventures. And these are scalable startups, may or may not be, post revenue or have an MVP, but at some point they're likely going to want to seek some kind of venture funding. So you don't have to be at that point yet, but if you're planning to be at that point, you would mark yourself as a high growth venture. And then of course, all the business mentors are volunteers. So is there any questions so far? And mentors, you follow a similar process where you create a profile, you say what industry you're in, your area of expertise, and a little bit about yourself. I'll show you here's a profile of Rich Foreman. He's on here as a mentor, as a lot of you know. So, where you're located, what industry you're in. You have an opportunity to sort of freeform your professional background. And then these things are also freeform how you want people to work with you. So for example, Rich says, if you want him to be your mentor, you should be prepared to give him a 30-second pitch when you first connect. And then there's also areas, where he has expertise. There's a lot of information about the mentor here. Okay, so before we get into how to find a mentor, I wanted to go ahead and open it up to if you have any questions right now at this moment. How many are in the meeting right now, Jeff?
We've got 23 total right now.
Okay, all right. So you could unmute yourself and ask the question or type it in the chat. And then Jeff, if you would help me if you see one in the chat. If there's no questions, we'll move on.
I'll throw out one just to kick people off. Can you start your profile and then does it save so that if you don't complete it, or do you have to kind of complete it all in one sitting?
You can save it to a point. In fact, we have a lot of people who've created a user ID but have not finished the process. But I'm not sure that, Cameron, do you know if you can actually save your profile in the middle or if it won't let you save it unless you hit all the required points?
I don't believe so. I think it's you initially sign up, right? That's where you create the login name, and then you finalize the profile. I would say just kind of to do it all in one setting. You can obviously go back and edit things that you might need to change down the line. From my own personal experience, I just connected it to my LinkedIn, and that fills out a majority of the information and makes it really easy to log in. It just integrates nicely there. So that would just be some of my perspective.
And yours is as a mentor, right?
Correct. And I set it up as a mentor. I don't know that I did the entrepreneur side.
Yeah.
But you can do both platforms. If you're, an entrepreneur and you're also wanting to mentor, say, a student, that would be an opportunity where you can set up a mentor site as well, and then connect with students or whatever particular mentoring engagement you would like to engage on that side.
Right. And I actually have my profile set up to be both a mentee and a mentor, or an entrepreneur as they're called on here. So, we all need mentoring no matter what stage we're at. Any other questions before we?
Yes, Dick has a question.
I had a quick one, a couple things. First, I wanted to say I'm really impressed with how this has been rolled out. I think Aubrey has done a great job and everybody working together. I think the platform is great. One question I had was, I signed up on Saturday and I immediately had two hits. One was from Colombia, Bogota, and one was from the Netherlands. And so, I talked to Cameron, and this is a bigger network kind of thing, but I think in terms of what you all are trying to do here, we kind of want to focus on our region, right? And is there a way to kind of make sure that that's what's going on?
I'll take a stab, and then if Aubrey or the StartupSac team wants to hit on that is, initially it is a global platform. So the platform is created by Mentor, which is an international platform. So you will get hits, and actually a lot of the mentoring I've done before Mentor Sacramento rolled out, I kind of just wanted to test it out. I've mentored people from Nigeria, Chicago, and for me, it's just kind of part of that learning process, and I enjoy engaging in that. I guess my approach, partly, as I mentioned to you, Dick, was just to, kindly decline that and say I'm intentional about, mentoring in my local community, and how you can start to suss out who would be local to our community is that tag. If they have a Mentor Sacramento tag, that means they're local to the region and that they've signed up through our area. I don't know if there's a way to, and we can reach out to the MicroMentor team to see if we can limit on your potential profile that you don't want to be engaged from out of the area. I do want to demonstrate the value that does have from the entrepreneur side. So, on the line here is Brad Clark, and he's been a mentor and speaker for one of our Carlson Center Virtual Entrepreneurship Toolkit series. He lives in Canada. And so, he would be someone where a local entrepreneur in Sacramento would be able to tap into his expertise in financing and things like that. And so it's kind of that delicate balance. Is if it's open, there's extra value, but then there's also the times you have to say, hey, I'm not able to be mentoring you, or I'm focused just on my local community.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. And it wasn't a complaint. It was actually kind of flattering. And I'm in the same boat you are. I'd love to talk to people and help them. But I wanted to make sure I went back to Aubrey and you and said, okay, the driving purpose is, first purpose is Greater Sacramento region. And
100%.
you're gonna be measuring that kind of a thing. So, but I think it's great. Really well done, guys.
Thank you, Dick.
Yeah. So you'll get two kinds of emails from MicroMentor, Dick. One is where the platform itself is suggesting people that you might want to mentor, and you didn't necessarily, those people haven't necessarily reached out to you. And then the other is a notification that someone has reached out to you. So if it's just MicroMentor making suggestions, there's nothing that you need to do about that. If it's someone who's reached out to you, you can still ignore it. Or I have kindly said, due to time limitations, I am limiting my mentoring to people in Northern California. Good luck finding a mentor, something along those lines. Or you can just ignore them, or you can actually block them. So.
Yeah, I actually think it's important for all of us to show a lot of respect for anybody that shows interest. Both of mine directly sent a note with it. It wasn't just so I think it's important for us to show respect and then engage if we're able to. But again, I was just kind of getting the lay of the land in terms of what Sacramento wants to have happen.
Okay, and I wanted to show you in your settings on your profile, you can decide what you want to get emails about. So you can actually say that anyone can start a conversation with you, or nobody can start a conversation. And then there's some other things here that you can look at. So, but I don't know. I was looking to see if you could have it stop suggesting mentees or mentors, and I don't see that as a choice. But it's great to get your feedback so that we can go on from, tell MicroMentor what we need for our community. So any other questions before I go on to how you search for a mentor or a mentee?
One just came in from Diane. Diane, you want to ask the question, or shall I read it for you?
I'm working on the principle here that Balboa, if I ignore Balboa, he'll go away.
Yeah. Diane asks, where do we set up a profile to begin the process?
Okay. So to begin the process, you go to mentor-sacramento.micromentor.org. And Jeff, if you would go ahead and put that link back in the chat. And then when you come to the page here, you either click find a mentor or be a mentor. And then that will take you, if you say find a mentor, because you're an entrepreneur, that will take you to this page. And if you're not logged in, if you don't have a profile yet, it will guide you through creating an account and then setting up your profile. So that's the starting place, is you first complete a profile. And then, so hopefully that answers that question. The next step 2 is finding a mentor. And that's what I wanted to move on to, unless there's further questions about how you get on the platform. Okay. All right. So
looks like there's a question. It looks like there's a question from
I have a question. My name is Ma'at. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I actually have 2 questions. My first question is, hi, thank you for having this today. It's really great. I appreciate it. Is it possible to get a mentor in 2 different areas? So for example, I would like something in product development as well as social media usage. I'm social media illiterate, so I would need some help in both those areas. Is it possible to get a mentor in 2 areas?
Absolutely. So you can connect with as many mentors as you want, and you can search in different areas of expertise. So we would just ask that you're mindful of their time and your time, that you may want to get mentoring in one area first before moving on to the other, but you don't have to wait. You can be working with 2 mentors at the same time. Cameron, do you want to add anything to that?
Profile? You need to create a second profile for a second mentor.
No, it's all on one profile. So it's just different conversations. And then ultimately, once you've aligned a meeting with your mentor, you don't do that on the interface of Mentor Sacramento. So you typically say, hey, can we make a call, or can we set up a Zoom? And that's kind of how you take your mentoring relationship off of the platform to have that further engage. And so basically the platform is a way to connect with those mentors and then identify ways that you want to meet with him or her after.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
Right. Okay, and I think as we move forward here, that this might answer some of those questions. So any questions before we get to how you select a mentor? Okay, going to move on. So once you have created your platform, then you can click on this mentors it's at the top of every page, basically. You just click on mentors, and then you have search terms. You can use any or all of these. And I have simply put in technology and internet. And these are set little boxes that you could check. You could even check more than one box if you wanted to. So it's not free form, but there's different areas of expertise. You could also pick a particular industry or some other search term, but I've simply put in technology and internet and clicked on filter results. So what shows up first are the mentors who signed up through Mentor Sacramento. So we can see that there's a number here. Dick is one of them, for example, who has area of expertise as technology and internet, as do all these others. So you can kind of look through what they have to say and say, this guy, Rich Foreman, looks interesting. So you can click on Rich, and it takes you to his more detailed profile, where you can learn more about Rich and decide if he's someone that you want to connect with. And actually, I'm going to switch to my own profile. I can show you. Got to switch browsers here because I haven't finished signing in on the other one. It won't let me do that. So we're going to go to mentors again and pick.
And we're still on the other browser, just FYI.
You guys are on the other browser? That's weird.
You might have, when you shared your screen, selected just to share that one browser, perhaps. So you might need to, if you've gone to another browser, you might want to stop sharing and then click share again, and then click on the
All
other
right.
browser or your whole desktop.
Let's do it an easier way. Sorry guys for the little delay here. Okay, that should work. Okay, so let's do a real life case. So I go to mentors. By the way, does anyone know if Rich has joined us?
I just checked. I don't see him here.
Okay, he may be joining us later. Okay, so I'm going to pick technology and internet again. And then I'm going to click on filter. And, oh, all right, he didn't show up this time. Maybe he's not accepting people anymore. Or let's get rid of that. Oh, let's get rid of that. There we go. It defaults, if you put in an industry, the filters default to what industry you said you're in, by the way. Okay, there's more people. Okay, so we go to Rich's. Rich looks good, looks like someone, you know, I need help putting my app together. So I look over Rich's profile, and then I decide I want to ask Rich to mentor me. So I click on asking Rich to mentor me, and then I put in a message about why I want Rich to mentor me. So I'll say, I am designing an app and I need help figuring out how to take it to market. And you even have spell check. So I'll send that to Rich. And then if Rich wants to help me, he will reply back to me. And it may take a while. It could happen that same day. It could be a week from now. But so I've picked Rich, but then I need another mentor. Okay, and this mentor I want, and this goes to answer the question. I want someone who can help me with marketing, say. So I filter my results. And again, it's showing me the people who are in Mentor Sacramento first, but then it will also go to people who are not from Mentor Sacramento. So you're not just limited to our mentors. And I'm going to say, I want John McGrady. I'm going to check him out. He looks like someone who knows his stuff. And then I can review John's platform profile, see, like, oh yeah, he's exactly who I need. So I can say something to John like, you'll probably want to put something in here more detailed, but can you help me figure out the best way to sell online? But what John's going to see, he's not just going to see your message, he's also going to be able to see your profile. And so if you haven't done a good job filling out your profile, if it doesn't look like you've taken it seriously, then he may, having limited time, he may pick someone over you. So I encourage you to, especially the part about your company. Let's see, let's look at mine here. Or actually, we can look at other people's, but I don't want to call anyone out. See if it says mine. No, okay. Let's go look at an entrepreneur. So again, it's showing these first. So when if a mentor wants to actively search for someone to mentor, they can do that as well by going to this entrepreneur section. They can say, what expertise are these people looking for? What industry are they in? There's some other filters there. And this search terms is free form, so you can put in whatever you want. But you can see what they need help with, and then also what their website is. So Carrie Mills, for example, she needs help with contracts, technology and internet, and technology planning. Her company is Wonderboom Software, and then she's put a description of what that is.
Hey, Laura.
Yeah.
Sarah Chinakwe says in the chat that she'd love for you to review hers, and that was the one right next to the one you just clicked. So she's here with us if you wanted to review that one as well.
Ah, there we go.
Right there.
All right. So let's look at Sarah's. Okay, so as a mentor, if you find Sarah's platform based on just searching through everyone looking, or because you connected with what she needs expertise in, it's actually quite a few. She needs help in a lot of areas of marketing, starting up her business, some different kinds of technology. So it's pretty granular what you can select you need help with. And she's given her background as an entrepreneur, what she's done so far, what her future goals are, and her motivation to work with a mentor. So believe me, mentors are going to read this stuff. So, you know, take some time and have it be genuinely what you need. And then also, I think this about your venture, even if you're in the idea stage and have just taken a few steps so far, it's important to have that in there. So you also do a self-assessment during the application process, and these colors sort of indicate what your competency is, your self-assessed competency is in those different areas. So you can see that, that Sarah is less confident in the area of sales than she is in the area of operations, for example. So, so that's the information that is available to the mentor. So if you were a mentor, you could click on Offer to Mentor Sarah, and then you basically send her a message through the platform. So any questions about that before we move on to what happens after you have a match?
Can I just make a quick point while we're on this page? And I just recently used this feature with one of our entrepreneurs and then I think a mentor of StartupSac, is that refer Sarah to a colleague feature. So if you do that, that sends the profile to a mentor or an entrepreneur and lets them know that this is potentially a good fit. So, if you're a mentor and, you get an email and someone's like, oh, I'm not the right fit. You ask for technology skills, but I know someone who's really good in that space and you want to refer them to another mentor on the platform. You can do that as well as a fellow entrepreneur. So just know that that feature exists and it would be a good one to kind of further connect and have proper pairing.
It looks like you can actually send it to someone who's not on the platform, since you put in a name and an email. So, which might encourage them to join the platform, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to play with that
Sure.
one.
I haven't tried it with them not on the platform. But.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to point out, Cameron or Jeff or Aubrey, before we move on to what happens after you make that connection with a mentor or a mentee?
No, just reiterate some of the points of just, as robust as you can make your profile, so the mentor or the mentee, can like see into what you're able to actually, get support with, or what you're willing to support with, leads to a better match down the line. So,
yeah. And here's another feature that's on both the mentor and mentee is recent activity. If you hover over that, it says that Sarah's been active in the last week. If you went to someone's profile, where none of those circles are lit, or, it says, hasn't been active for 3 months, maybe they're just waiting for the right person, or maybe they've become kind of inactive. I do want to point out that we are just really launching this, and we've been actively recruiting more mentors to join and also more mentees. So the universe isn't huge right now. I think all combined, we have something like 50 people signed up right now. So, we'll continue to promote this and get more people signed up. So you guys ready to move on to what happens next?
Sure, there's no questions in chat or anything, so I think you're good to go.
All right, so what happens next is I will liken it to online dating, although this is not a dating site. I don't want anyone to think that it is. But basically, you can continue to communicate on the platform before you share your actual email address or phone number, all those things. But at some point, you and your mentor will probably decide that you want to connect off the platform. So you might want to set up a phone call, a web meeting. Post-COVID, you might want to meet for coffee. So basically, you would do that within the sort of the email feature. Not sort of, but my conversations. So basically, I can continue. You would come to your conversations, and you could continue the conversation here. So John and I are having a conversation, and I could say, do you have time for a 30-minute video chat? And then I can say, email me at whatever my email address is. And John, then John will probably email me. That is actually a working email, by the way, Sponge Laura. I'm a SpongeBob fanatic. So that's basically how you take it to the next level. Now, there's also a way that you could complain about someone if something inappropriate happens. And I've actually done that with someone who basically emailed me as a mentor and said, I don't know, they wanted me to get in on some investment scheme or something. So you would just click on this report. I don't think I want to actually click on it because I don't want to report John. And I think that when you click on it, you can give a reason for why you're reporting them. And then the micro-mentor staff monitors that pretty heavily and will get rid of that person. You can also block a person from being able to reach out to you. And again, you would go to your conversations. And let's say you can report people who reach out to you from here as well, but you could also block them. So I'll show. I'm not going to block this.
Laura, quick question. So are there moderators that are sort of monitoring the community for to make sure it's clean and well lit?
Oh, wait, let me show this first. So at the bottom down here, if I didn't want to get any more messages from this person, I could click on block future messages. So I'm not reporting them. They haven't done anything wrong. I just don't want them to keep contacting me about being mentored. You could click on that. So Cameron or Aubrey, can you answer the question about what's going on, people reporting stuff and then following up on that?
I don't believe, to my knowledge, and Aubrey would probably have more insight, anyone going around like looking through the profiles to verify the community in that fashion. It would be more the community self-cleaning itself, if that makes sense, where that reporting feature would be the one that signals to micro-mentor that this person's either doing wrong things or, has a fake profile, and they, when you actually met with them, that wasn't who it was. But it's kind of the community just doing that work.
I think that's good, and I think just reinforcing the spirit of the self-policing and safe conduct is important. Yeah. So it looks like there's a good audit trail in the system.
Yeah. There's one other feature that I haven't used. I don't know if Cameron's used it, but it's called Ask and Answer a Question. So it's kind of like Quora or Reddit. You can ask a question. Here's some different questions people have asked, and people have answered it. It shows you how current it is. I don't know. Sometimes I'm going to get rid of these. I'm just going to type in the word Sacramento, and we'll see if anyone from Sacramento has typed in a question. Okay, it doesn't look like anyone from Sacramento has typed in a question yet, but that's another area that you might want to explore. Let's search on, I'm probably getting too specific here, but let's try business model canvas. All right, I know one that will turn up a lot. Every entrepreneur funding. Okay, yeah, so there's a lot of questions people in general have about funding. So that's an area where both, I think, mentors and mentees can put questions out there and the crowd can answer. So I think I've gone over the primary features. We've got about 10 minutes left. So I'm going to leave my screen open in case there's something we need to show on the screen to answer a question. But so we'll open it up for questions. And Jeff, if you could moderate that, if somebody types in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and ask a question. Also, I'd say if there's anyone who has made a connection with a mentor or a mentee and wants to share anything about that, that would be great too.
Nothing coming through in chat yet.
See a lot of, I'm looking through your names now, which I hadn't done before. I'm going to send an email to everyone who registered as well, just reiterating how to join. And then we will have this video available at some point. I think I'm recording it.
Yes, it is.
If anyone, while everyone's thinking for questions, one of the things I wanted to share just in meeting with Aubrey in the city, as well as Micro Mentor, were some of our goals for the next year of like the engagement on the platform. So our aims to have 600 completed profiles. So that's not just signing up and then not finishing a profile, but actually finishing a total profile. And that typically across the mentor network, they're seeing a 3-to-1 entrepreneur to mentor relationship. So that's kind of the goal there. And then in terms of actual conversations, the aims to have around 350 conversations that take place, which leads to 280 connections. So formal mentoring engagement. So just that's the context and scale that we're looking at for this year of really rolling out the platform.
Yeah, I'd really encourage you all, if you haven't yet, to go out and create your profile and start exploring the platform. And who here, we've got a few people who are mentors here, and I think the bulk of you, though, are mentees, although you can be both, as Cameron pointed out. So we're hoping January is it National or Global Mentorship Month? So we'll probably do a nice promo next month.
National Mentor.
Yeah. And also, this is free. This is a free platform for you to use, so it's not going to cost you anything, whether you're a mentor or a mentee. Thanks to the City of Sacramento, who's underwriting our use of the platform. All right, other questions? Is there a way that mentors are vetted? Okay, so there's a question about if mentors are vetted before they can be on the platform. And you want to, does Cameron or Aubrey want to answer that?
So from the tag perspective, you know, if there was someone who was, you know, using, say, the Carlson Center tag, and I, you know, didn't know them to be a mentor, I would probably reach out to them and engage them. But, you know, anyone can create a mentor profile. That's part of, you know, I would say the due diligence process of being an entrepreneur. If you're going to take on, you know, investment at some level, doing your due diligence of who that investor would be. So, you know, as much as the mentor is vetting the entrepreneur, as an entrepreneur, I would vet that mentor and look at their profile, go on their LinkedIn and see if they're actually doing what they're saying they're doing. But, you know, if it's, you know, if your first meeting is a half hour long and you realize that that person doesn't actually have that expertise, then, you know, not a huge loss, but no, there is no like actual vetting process beforehand.
That was a great question, though. Thanks for asking that. Again, the community is policing. So, you know, use that report button. Use the report button if something untoward, I think, happens. If they say they have, you know, expertise in marketing and you find out you actually have more expertise than they do, I wouldn't report them for that. I think that's just a mismatch. They, you know, they may still have more marketing experience than an absolute beginner. So
there's a follow-up question there. If someone is flagged, where does that go? What happens?
It depends on probably what the flagging is. Micro mentor is the kind of the back end. So if it's, you know, a reporting of, you know, harassment or something like that, that would be, they're the ones who manage that platform or that part of it. Whereas, you know, if it was, you know, reporting in terms of someone not being as expert in marketing as they said they would, then I wouldn't, you know, say they're going to take their profile out, but maybe to have them edit things or something like that. So.
Yeah, I think they're pretty tough on solicitation, you know, in terms of people trying to get you to, you know, invest in their scheme, you know, that sort of thing. My understanding is those profiles get removed.
Since that's one of the expectations of the community is that you're not soliciting. So that's on both sides. So, you know, if you're a mentor who does, you know, tax stuff, that's your job. You know, they don't want you trying to find people who are looking for, you know, advice to try and get them to be your customers. This is a platform for advice and help, not necessarily, you know, trying to get people to buy things from you.
Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes, Aubrey, that's a little bit of a gray line, because like a lot of tax professionals will offer their advice, and we don't want them to be doing a hard sell. But the fact that you know that they're an accountant and now you need accounting services, and since they've mentored you, you decided that you want to do business with them, that's allowed, isn't it?
It is. It's more the actual solicitation of, you know, someone like, hey, this isn't a trial for your services. This is, you know, as a mentor, I want to be able to offer, you know, give back to my community. At the same time, you know, you want to be realistic about what you're actually offering. So let's say you help people make their business plan or something, you know, so you might say, okay, I can tell you kind of where to start. I can help you brainstorm, and I can refer you to resources. If you know, but what I do for a living is actually, you know, help people make business plans. So if that's what you want, if you want the hand holding, then you would have to talk to me off the platform here. So it's more kind of being about being intentional about you know, the conversation you're having, and making sure it's advice and not necessarily services, if that makes sense.
Great, thank you for clarifying that. Other questions? We got a couple more minutes. Okay, it's
and I think just on that line, as an entrepreneur, if you are investing, partly that rule is to protect you, that you're not going and soliciting an investment and then you're soliciting that from someone who's not an accredited investor, and that's where some of that legality is. And so we've learned that from Jeff, Laura, and I from 1 Million Cups. We've had to put intentional language around that event in general. So those are just things to protect you as well.
Yeah, but you could certainly connect with an investor and ask them for their advice and feedback on your startup.
100%.
Yeah, but we won't get into general solicitation and SEC laws, but if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to us and we'll explain what an accredited investor is to you. So, all right. Well, any other questions before we let you all head off to lunch?
Nothing in chat.
Jeff and Laura for putting this on.
Yeah. So you can make my day by creating a profile on MicroMentor. So, and you can choose either StartupSac, put you in connection with it, or the Carlson Center, or whomever you work with the most. There's other partners. Who are some of the other partners, Aubrey? You're on mute. There you go.
Sorry. I'm going to be honest, and off the top of my head, I don't recall.
I think
the Asian Chamber on there.
Better Business Bureau.
There you go. Yes, them as well.
I think Hacker Lab.
But yes, Hacker Lab.
Yeah.
One of the other. They've got some good numbers right now. So yeah. Thank you for the reminder there.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, last chance for questions. Jeff, do you see any in the chat?
No, just some thank yous from people. So no more questions.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. I'll put my email. Don't send me an email at SpongeLaura because those don't get looked at. So Laura@startupsac.org. If you have any questions about the platform, I'd be happy to help you with that, or anything else about connecting with the startup community in Sacramento. Be happy to help you get connected. So, all right. Well, Jeff, you get to shut this thing down since I transferred it over to you as host.
Okay, so I'll give people 10 more seconds to grab that email of yours. So thanks again for everybody, and safe and happy holidays to everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye, all.
Bye.